welcome all to the House Budget Committee for this hearing on one of the key threats posed to our free enterprise system, the growing cronyism in Washington and government-imposed barriers to upward mobility. While we're dealing with tough economic times, Americans still live in the most prosperous and dynamic country in the world. Our free enterprise system has lifted millions from the grips of poverty, a record of success that is increasingly challenged by the corrosive influence of Washington's misguided policies. Over the years, both political parties have pursued deficit-driven spending aimed at favored companies, tax carve-outs for the well-connected, and regulatory barriers that stack the deck against the average citizen. This creates a rigged game where success is too often determined not by the quality of service or products that a business provides, but by the relationships with those in power in Washington. Both parties share in the blame, and I believe that both parties must work together to advance solutions to get us back on track. To that end, we passed a budget here in the House that lifts the debt and strengthens the safety net for those who need it and eliminates corporate welfare for those who don't need it. Our pro-growth tax reforms ensure a level playing field for all to prosper. Regrettably, the President's policies take us in the wrong direction. He has called for higher hurdles and greater complexity in the tax code. He insists on wasteful spending on his political allies and regulatory monstrosities that protect the entrenched at the expense of the entrepreneur. We've seen the results of this type of government-centered society in Europe. Massive spending, high taxes, and corporate favoritism have burdened the continent with crushing debt loads and economies unable to grow. America is not destined to share this kind of future if we give our people the freedom to succeed and prosper. Today's hearing is an effort to explore how we can advance reforms consistent with our timeless principles and match the magnitude of today's challenge. We can and we must restore America's exceptional promise, ensuring all citizens are guaranteed with the freedom to pursue their dreams and making certain that we leave the next generation with a stronger, more prosperous America. I want to thank our three witnesses for joining us today, and I'll get to the third part in a second here. First of all, we have former Governor Jeb Bush of Florida. Thank you very much for traveling with us today. It's great to see you here, Governor, with us today. You've been an outspoken advocate on restoring government's proper role so that all Americans, especially the least among us, have the opportunity to rise. We also have Chris Edwards, Director of Tax Policy Studies at the Cato Institute. Chris has been a long-time advocate for a fairer and simpler tax code and for his insightful criticism of the mess of subsidies and special interest favoritism that now pervades Washington spending and the tax code. And then we will be joined with Henry Waxman. I talked to Henry on the floor last night. He has a previous engagement. He knows we're starting at 9, but he'll show up hopefully by the time our opening statements and the two witnesses are done. We know, Henry is the ranking member of the Energy and Commerce Committee. He's been a strong leader for his party, and he is the minority's witness today. So when the two gentlemen are done, we'll go with Henry. Hopefully he'll be here by then. And with that, I'd like to yield to the ranking member, Mr. Van Hollen.